Hey, so today I have 4 tips for you if you want to take video editing from something that maybe you do on the side, you do it on the weekends, and you want to become the go-to editor for corporate projects, for real estate projects, for production companies that work with cool brands eventually. These are 4 tips that will take your work from, I just picked up my editing software, to, okay, this is the go-to editor that we need to keep working with. Tip number 1 is to be detail-oriented throughout the process of editing your video. Don't be editing out of your downloads folder. You're constantly use sound effects, graphics, assets, have those readily accessible and neatly organized so that you're not fishing around for them every single project. Don't be sending out exports that have missing media or dropped frames. Be watching your exports before they go to a client. Being detail-oriented in ways like I'm spell checking the emails that I send to the client. I'm spell checking the captions on the video that I send to the client. Be focused, and that will encourage clients to come back to you because they're going to respect that you're detail-oriented. Tip number 2 is to focus on storytelling and efficiency over hype and learning new effects. Being creative is an important part of the package that you would bring to any client, of course. But if you're focused on being a storyteller and being efficient in the way that you edit, that's the way that you can turn this into a full-time income. What do I mean by that? Storytelling, it's easy to cut 60 seconds of hype from an event, steal an Instagram audio, and just push that video out. A lot of people can do that to become indispensable. Cutting together 60 to 90 seconds from an event, but you're incorporating interviews. You're telling a really good story using sound bites that you get from the field. When you can approach an interview that's 20, 30 minutes and you can cut that down into a 3-minute video that's concise, that earns its emotional beats, and that has a concise, clear story that evolves over the course of those 3 minutes. Those are the kind of skills that I think you should develop because there's a lot of work in that area, and it's a lot easier for somebody who, let's just say they shoot photo. It's a lot easier for them to rip a couple of 60 FPS clips, slow them down, Instagram trending audio from an event. It's a lot harder for them to wrap their head around 30 minutes of interview footage plus B-roll and turn that into a concise, clear, professionally executed video. You want to stand out from the competition and not just be trying to rush out a 60-second event recap faster. Speaking of faster, being efficient is also super important. There are projects that are going to require maximum creativity, and maybe it's a documentary that you've got 3 months for, but a lot of this work is going to be repetitive videos. Real estate videos, for example, you want to have your title templates dialed in. Don't be creating titles from scratch. You want to have your export settings dialed in, your presets dialed in. All this sort of stuff is going to save you time. You're going to be able to deliver faster for clients. And when they see that you are efficient and that you're detail oriented, they're going to keep bringing you more work. And that's how you go to a full-time income. Auteur director, creative stuff is awesome, but this is what I'm focusing on here is I want you to be able to turn this into a full-time job. Tip number 3 is to edit based on strategy and tactics. Be a student of where your videos end up. Do they end up on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram? Are they Facebook ads? Are you cutting a 15-second spot that is going to have a skip after 6 seconds? Okay, we need to lock in on those first 5 or 6 seconds to propel people to watch all the way through. Do we have a call to action for this video? Is it best at the end of a 4-minute video, or should we find a way to work that call to action in somewhere else, even if it's just through text? What I love about the discourse that's going on YouTube right now is many editors are focused on how do I edit for retention? And that's super interesting to me because yes, it's creative, yes, it's artistic, but it also has an amount of strategy to it that's really exciting. If you can be someone who thinks strategically about the decisions, and if you can convey that to a client, they're gonna keep bringing you back, because if you can translate their strategic asks, if they say, these are the deliverables that I have, this is the result that I need to get, and you can figure out how your edit can accomplish those deliverables and results better, that's exactly the kind of editor who is going to keep getting hired, especially for corporate, for marketing sort of videos. If you can help everyone get to the goal better with your video, you're going to keep getting calls back. Tip number 4 is to ask for better feedback. Of course, there are going to be videos where you just need those time-coded notes. But when it comes to story-focused videos, longer form videos, asking for better feedback is going to make your videos better, and it's going to make it a little bit less of a, oh, I just got 40 time codes. I feel like they just want me to press buttons, and more of you're a creative partner throughout the process. So what does this look like? When you send over a link for review, I like to give context and I like to ask questions up front to sort of get the conversation going instead of here's a 40-minute video, please let me know your thoughts. I mean, what does that leave room for? That leaves room for them to give feedback on anything, and it might be overwhelming for the person giving feedback who they say, oh, well, they want thoughts. Okay, I better give them as many notes as possible so it looks like I really watched it. No, ask 4 or 5 intentional questions. One of the big things that I like to ask is, do we earn the emotional beat? Do we earn the ending? Do we earn our conclusion of the story? You know, if the first 3 minutes are pretty sad and maybe a little depressing, do we earn the emotional beat and the shift in music that happens at the 4th minute? Have we guided the audience through the journey enough that they're not gonna feel like we just do a hard cut jolt in emotions? Like, do we guide the audience through a little bit of a journey? When you ask these sort of questions, that engages a creative dialogue rather than you just being treated as a button pusher or an executor of time-coded notes. So there you go. Those are my 4 tips for today. I hope those help you develop further as an editor. I'll see you in the next one.
All right, Drew, do your magic.